Ah, what a great Seahawk weekend it was, my friend. The Hawks win. You made a good point on the show, too, today, and not that you don't always make good points, but today in particular you made a good point.
Thanks, man.
We talked about the great day that the whole receiving corps had, and we're going to kind of focus on one guy a little bit, Golden Tate. But really, the Seahawks wide receivers were all good, and Golden Tate, you know, I remember when were doing, I think it was training camp shows, and the Seahawks were all, he's going to be the number 2 wide receiver. And we're both, what? Based on what? How is that going to possibly work? And yet, here we are, I think, 10, 12 weeks in, and we sort of see exactly how it's going to work. It's going to work well.
Yeah, I don't think it came as quickly as we were hoping. We saw some down games like the 49ers game and things like that, where this receiving core as a whole we were all questioning. But Golden Tate, you know, I don't even know how many catches he's had on the year off the top of my head, but I feel like every one of them has been big or acrobatic.
Spectacular.
You know, even in the Dolphins game, remember he had the defender had position in frone of him, and he kind of over the top of him and makes the catch. I mean, and this catch, the touchdown that should have been the game winner in the game against the Bears, was a routine just over the middle, maybe it traveled 5 yards in the air. It was not a big deal, but it's what he did after he caught the ball.
Right.
He was just a guy who refused to go down. He's breaking tackles, he's diving into the end zone, and you thought it was the game winner. The Bears make the comeback, and we all know how it turned out. But he's a guy who's just really made a name for himself with the block on Sean Lee and the Cowboys, the catch in the Packer game. It's been a big kind of redemption sort of year for him so far. And I thought he, along with the entire receiving corps in this game, if you really watched it and watched the effort in all these catches, even the one that didn't count for Braylon Edwards was a brilliant catch. It was just a great day for the entire corps, including, obviously, Golden Tate.
Yeah, boy, you think about the days of him at the donut shop and really, boy, this looked like a mistake. And it really is sort of validating the Pete Carroll, John Schneider way of doing things, which is getting a guy who they believed in Golden Tate could have a big impact. And Pete always talked about it. And, you know, he played against him, obviously, when he was doing SC in Notre Dame, that this was a guy who was just capable of making big plays. And it was he's not a traditional number 2 receiver, I would say. I mean, he is a different sort of animal out there. And, hey, let's not forget, the best left-handed quarterback on the Seahawks as well is also Golden Tate. So he can do a little bit of everything if you need him.
Right. He's a guy, and he's a guy who's very in touch with, you know, his shortcomings coming into this. He always makes mention of, he mocks the whole donut thing when we've talked to him before, and he's a guy that seems very comfortable in his own skin right now and very just kind of at peace with, you know, what was expected of him, what is expected of him. And you can listen to the interview today on the podcast.
Good idea.
He's very good. He just seems to be a guy who's at peace and understands what he can do, what he hasn't done, and what he needs to do to continue, you know, living up to the expectations. And so far, he's been fantastic this year.
Alma Mater's playing for the national championship.
Yeah, he feels good about that.
It's a real good year for Golden Tate.